Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I appreciate you tuning in. Today we've got we got 4 big bundles of hickory that we've got to process. Got a couple different things we're doing, trying to get to an end use of different things. So come right back and I'll get a little more in detail of what we've got to make out of this and how we're going to get there. Okay guys, welcome back. Disclaimer to start with, Matthew and I did not saw this, we did not sticker this, we did not band this. Customer contacted me quite some time ago. They had a mobile miller, mill it, stack it, and they air dried it. And they brought it to us and then we kiln dried it. And now we're gonna finish process it. And the end goal is, the bulk of it is gonna be 3/4 inch flooring. We're shooting for a finished 4 and a finished 6. Got some thin boards here that we're going to edge down to probably 4-ish, and they need to be a 1/2 inch thick for trim. Got a stack of what should have been 1-inch boards, basically. We're just going to plane those live edge like they are for future projects. We got another bundle of flooring, another one over there. The top of that is some 2-inch stuff, kind of random cut live edge. We're just going to plane that and send it back to them the way it is for future projects. But our main big goal is the bulk of it. We got to go through each individual board and decide if it'll make a, we're going to cut them at 6 3/4, excuse me. And then we'll run it through the moulder, probably down to 6 1/2 and 900 thousandths. And then we'll run it again, a finished 6-inch T&G flooring. And the ones that won't make a good 6 3/4 will probably drop down to a 4 3/4, because you can see it's got a lot of end checking, and we won't know until Matthew picks up every board and puts a tape on it and says, yep, it'll make a good 6, or nope, we're going to have to edge it down to a 4. So that's our goal for this video, is to go through all this flooring, as well as this little bit of trim, and get it straight line to edge, and then we'll go to the next process. This is the job, guys. You got to price it accordingly. Would it have been easier if we'd have done the whole process? Yes, but that's not what happened. So we're picking up where the other sawyer left off. I will just mention briefly, proper stickering and banding is so important, guys. You always use Matthew's rule of thumb when stickering. If you got an 8-foot log or board, cut that in half. That's 4. Add 1 more. That's 5 stickers. That's bare minimum you should ever put on an 8-foot stack is 5. If we're doing some high-end stuff, oak, hickory, maple, add another one. Add 6. And you shrink that dimension of 20 inches between stickers down to like 16. You won't go wrong adding a few more stickers, okay? You can add too many, but on an 8-foot stack of high-end stuff, 6 or 7 is not a problem, because it's not going to hurt anything, but the lack of stickers will. You'll get ends drooping. That's the other thing. When you're stickering, put this outside sticker, you know, within 1 inch or 2 of the edge of the board, and that will help keep the edges straighter. And I recommend strapping. If you don't have a strapping tool, buy you some cheap 1-inch ratchet straps. And while it's going through the air drying process once a week, go out there, tighten that thing up, keep everything good and bound down. And that keeps it parallel this way as well as this way. And it don't hurt if you got some cheaper lumber, put 2 or 3 of these stacks and then put a stack of pine on top of it to weight it down while it's going through the drying process. So I'll get off my soapbox. It's time for it to go to work. It's just gonna be a lot of edging. We got a brand new set of blades on the edger, and by the time we're done, they'll be done. They'll probably be trash. So Sorry, it's going to be a lot of time lapse because it's just Matthew sitting there looking at boards, figuring out how to run them, and me catching them and sorting them. We'll sort them out into a couple different piles. So let's get to work. Okay, guys, that was the first little pass. Got all these cut to 4 1/4. They were cut at 3/4. They're eventually going to be 4 by 1/2 inch trim boards. So I got that out of the way. Now we got the big bulk of this we got to go through, and we already talked about 2 sizes, 6 3/4 and 4 3/4. We'd only do the 4 3/4 if it has such a major defect. That's the best board we can get out of it. So more time lapse because it just takes hours behind this EG100. Excellent tool for the job. You are going to wear out some saw blades edging this much stuff. So let's get back to work. Okay guys, welcome back. Matthew got all the 6 3/4 run, ended up with 187 boards, around 740 to 50 square feet is what I'm figuring that'll yield. Probably less than that because they're going to have to do some trimming. But I think we got 40-ish boards that wouldn't make a 6 3/4. We're going to run them 4 3/4, and then I'll get you kind of a total number what I think square footage will be on this. That way I can communicate with the customer as well as you. So sorry about time lapse, guys. This just takes time. You can see our pile of flitches over there. There's nothing bigger than a 1-inch piece, and most of them are smaller than that. We're just taking the bare minimum to get them trued up good and straight. There's no way we could have run this. If I'd have sawed it, there's no way we could run it without edging it because it's hickory. It's going to dry poorly. Hickory always does. It's just part of it. I deluded myself when we first started running a moulder that, oh, we could just cut it and run it. No, you can't. Everything's got to be edged. It makes the finished product so much easier to run and so much better quality. So enough talking. Let's get these run. Okay guys, welcome back. It's gotten late in the day for Matthew and I, but we got it done. Grab my piece of paper here. We went through all 4 bundles. We separated the stuff over there that's going to be run through the grizzly planer for live edge. But over here we got 187 6 3/4 inch boards, and we ended up with 39 4 3/4 inch boards. And then the first thing we run, I had 19 4-inch wide and 12 4-inch wide at 8 foot and 7 foot respectively. But just dealing with the hardwood flooring, we got 852 square feet of usable lumber. Now you got to take that with a grain of salt. That's 852 square feet if you used every 8-foot board 8 foot long. Now, some of these boards, they may be able to use 8'4", you know, if it's good on both ends. But a lot of them, they're going to have to chop through and chop out some defects, and the yield, I would, at 850 square feet, I'd knock 20% off of it. So that's 150. So that's what I'm going to communicate with to the customer, because if this is not enough, we've got time. Matthew and I are going to saw some hickory for them and dry it and do enough to do their whole house. But this they had first, so we need to finish this first. Quite happy with it. The edger run great. As you know, we had to work on it the other day and put new pulleys on it. Seems to be doing excellent. Saw blades are probably wore out now after running all this, so next time we use it, we'll put some new saw blades on it. It's just part of the process, guys. If you're going to run a sawmill business beyond just sawing green lumber, these are some of the tools you're going to need, some of the processes you're going to get involved with. I tell anybody, if your goal is to buy a sawmill and saw green lumber and make a killing, change your goals, okay? There's a lot more to this business than just sawing green lumber. Even around here, if all we did was saw green lumber, I'd probably go get a job. There's not enough green lumber sales to even compare to what we're doing, okay? I ought to tally it up one year. I bet you my green lumber sales probably account for 20% of what we do, if it's even that high. The majority of what we sell is kiln-dried lumber and then secondary processed lumber, such as this. And if you want to stay in this business and stay profitable, this is where you're going to need to end up eventually. Unless you're that one rare person that just can mobile mill and do enough to be profitable, pay for your truck, pay for your equipment, pay for your sawmill, pay for replacing your truck, pay for replacing your sawmill, and different things that it takes to stay in business. So that's my tip of the day, business-wise. Guys, if you got any questions on this, be sure to ask them. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to push all this stuff over to Moulder Planer Room. and run this dead burn hard hickory, because it is hard as a rock. But it'll be a two-step process over there. We'll S4S it, and then we'll T&G V-groove it. The S4S is just to true up, make sure they're good and parallel, and then get rid of all those thicks and thins. 'Cause I don't care how good a sawyer you are, you're gonna have some thicks and thins. It happens. There's a lot in here, and we need to go through and find them all. That way, when we run the last pass, you dial the machine in real close on your tolerances, because you don't have any extra wides, and you don't have any bowed wood, and you don't have any thicks and thins. So you get it really zeroed in how much you want off the top, how much you want off this side, how much you want off that side, how much you're taking off the initial cutter. And when you start feeding them through there, the machine's just loving it because they're fairly well consistent. We'll try to go in a little more depth than that. As always, big shout out to Matthew and Solomon editing these videos. I couldn't do it without them. They're such a big help. If you need a hat, check out beardedlumbernc.com. What else? Oh, don't forget our monthly roundtable, third Saturday of every month at 8 o'clock Eastern time. There'll be a link here on our YouTube channel, how to join in our live stream, outdoor forestry and sawmilling. We got some good guests lined up this summer, some big guests. I'll be promoting one coming up real soon. You really need to tune in. This will be a good one. But that's going to do it. As always, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you watching. We've picked up thousands and thousands of new subscribers. It blows me away every day that people want to watch what Matthew and I do and listen to me talk, because I can talk for hours and hours on end. But, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate all the comments. That's going to do it. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.